You know the names, you've seen the plays, but what about the stories behind the game? Welcome to Honorable Mentions with Tanner Morgan and Quinn Carroll, two teammates turned storytellers, breaking down life, film, and everything in between. From locker room laughs to real-world lessons, nothing's off the record here. This
Morgan to throw, has time, lost one near side for Tyler Johnson. He has the catch at the 10, down the sideline, touchdown! What a play! He's got all the double, the one at the 10, turns it up 5, touchdown! Minnesota Golden Gophers!
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Honorable Mentions podcast. Tanner, was this episode 12? I believe it's episode 12.
Double digits, baby.
We've got an all-time guest for you, Joe Wisniewski, athletic director at the University of Minnesota. Joe, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Not the athletic director. I'm associate athletic trainer.
Associate athletic. Tomato.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. This is awesome. I've been listening to the pod the last few weeks. Hopefully I can keep up with some of the guests that you guys have had on.
Yeah, I just want to highlight really quick, Joe. First of all, thank you for coming on. But you have probably the best backdrop that any guest we've had on. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I spy with my little eye Mo Ibrahim Gushers in the back there. Special edition with RTB Mo, now the running back coach at the University of Minnesota. Talk about your relationship with Coach Mo now and just how cool it is to have him back in the building.
Yeah, man, me and Mo got super, super close. I've seen every game of his career. He's a running back in the Big Ten. He takes his licks, bumps and bruises. Had a big thing, back in 21, rehabbing through that. And him and I just got super close over the process. Consider him a close friend of mine now. Great kid, great when he was young, great adult now. I'm excited to see what he does with our running back room. Mo's the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tanner and I got the pleasure of playing with Mo. I know, he was one of those guys that was always chopping it up with you, whether he was doing rehab or not. He was always, building that relationship, and I know he always appreciated that. So take us back a little bit to the beginning of your career as an AT, kind of where it all started, what got you into it, and just take us through that timeline.
Yeah. So, went to college at Iowa State, walked in day one, didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Took a couple years till I found athletic training, had a couple friends that were going through the program, kind of pushed me that way. Did the intro classes to it, fell in love with it, kind of the whole, helping out athletes reach their potential, kind of seeing what it was all about. I was able to do some rotations early on there with football. That place really, really helped me build the passion for this. I could name drop people all day. But from there, Mark Coberly, Vic Miller, Nate Postma, these guys really kind of helped me develop as, I don't want to say a professional yet, you're just a student, but just kind of fall in love with the profession, push me to push myself. Late in my career, I wanted to potentially go into medical sales. Vic pulled me aside. He's the basketball athletic trainer down there. Told me he thinks that should be a mistake. I need to search some GA opportunities. So I applied for a GA spot at LSU. LSU was an unbelievable place, super out of my comfort zone. I grew up in Iowa, had never even been to Louisiana. Love it down there. Loved Baton Rouge, and being able to work with their football team and their tennis team was awesome. I had, kind of experience of running my own team with tennis as well as working football and learning from the people there. Again, just to name drop a few, Jack Marucci down there, Shelly Mullinex, Andy Barker, Mickey Collins, so many people that helped me grow and help me become a better professional. After LSU, after my GA ship ended, took my first job at Vanderbilt, worked football, tennis there. It was awesome.
Down.
Yeah. It's kind of, saw you guys had Caden McConnell on there. It's been fun to watch him. Awesome. I loved Nashville. I loved the people I worked with there. Against so many people that I was the low man, no experience coming in, learning from people like Justin Wenzel, Kerry Wilbar, um, so many people that helped me become who I am today. This job opened up. We had a strength coach down there, Ben Schumacher. Ben took a job.
Legend.
I texted him when this job opened up. Haha, should I apply? He's like, if you do, let me know. Applied up here, and I've been here ever since 2017.
That's
That's so
amazing. Ben
incredible.
Schumacher. Ben Schumacher's now with the Green Bay Packers. On their on the weight side there with the athletic development overall. I don't even know what his title is. Guy actually created a really cool product called the Shoe. Listeners, if you're listening in, if you have any AT background or anything going on, you should check out the Shoe. Nice little humble plug there for Ben Schumacher.
Joe, when you were at Iowa State, is that where you developed your hatred for the Hawkeyes? Or was that
There's a
before?
lot of I grew up an Iowa State fan, so there was always kind of that bitterness towards Iowa. But Iowa State when I was young always seemed to have their number. Um, when I went to LSU, there was kind of this running joke about, well, at least you don't have to see the Hawkeyes anymore. And we ended up playing Iowa in the Outback Bowl that year, so I
Oh,
didn't get
wow.
too far from them. But
Mm.
yeah, no, it's a really fun rivalry. I mean, the Iowa State Iowa rivalry, and then being here, the Gopher Iowa rivalry. It's a lot of fun.
Did you get
I
any
love it.
wins against Iowa when you were down there?
I did 2011 triple overtime game at Iowa State, and then at LSU we ended up beating them in the Outback Bowl.
There you go. Good way to start
Yeah.
that
Elite.
rivalry. When you were at LSU, talk about some of the guys that were down there on that team. I know you and I have talked about it a little bit, but I'd love to hear just about some of the legends that were down there, coaches and players.
Yeah, no, players down there. Odell was down there at the time. We had guys like Jarvis Landry, Jeremy Hill, Zach Mettenberger. Offense was loaded with old guys. Our defense was young guys that all ended up making a name for themselves. Trey White was on defense there. Jalen Mills was on defense there. Deion Jones, defensive player. I think he won Rookie of the Year when he went into the league. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but had a great career with the Falcons.
Yeah.
It was really, really kind of a one-of-a-kind place. Death Valley, you got to see it to believe it. It's an incredible stadium. Put it up there right with any of them. Best night atmosphere. It's just a bunch of crazy, crazy LSU Bayou people that come to those games, man. It's sweet. It's a really, really neat place.
I hate to put you on the spot here, but do you have a favorite story from when you were down there? Could be attached to a certain guy, but like you said, one of a kind place, one of a kind players down there that are, first rounders every year, type of program. So, just curious if you got any fun stories from when you were down there.
Tough to like pick out, just a single story, but I think one of the biggest memories was see Johnny Manziel and A&M come in to Tiger Stadium. Ended up beating them. That was an unbelievable game. That was the year Auburn went to the national championship. I think we were Auburn's only loss in the regular season. It's really tough to put your finger on one specific moment or one memory down there, but it was so much fun. It's just a unique place. You have to go. And you two as college football fans, I hope one time you guys can make your way down there and see a game.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
absolutely.
doubt.
Joe, when I think about you, I think about you're an unsung hero. And what I mean by that is in college football in general, when I look at guys in the AT room, guys in the EQ room, guys and gals, they're some of the most unsung heroes of college football in general. We hear now about the NIL, the alleged numbers of what people are getting, and the players have always been of the utmost importance as they should be in getting the credit and recognition they deserve. Coaches the same way. Rarely now GMs, right? We're talking about GMs more than ever now because they play a vital role in the health of a football team. Very rarely do we highlight how important athletic trainers are to the overall culture of a building. And just from my perspective, what you guys have built is really special. Can you talk about, working with Michael Sipniak, the head AT there, and how you guys really look at what you do on a daily basis to serve the players, so that they can go out there and have the best chance to be successful. Because I believe you are an unsung hero in that building. And I know people give you credit in the building. I'm not saying anything against that, but just in general, athletic trainers, man, they're some of the most unsung heroes in college football. So talk about what you and SIP have intentionally done to make sure that you're serving your athletes the best way that you can.
Yeah, 100%. Sip's the best. Yeah, we've been together. He came in a month before I started in 2017, so we really kind of got to see this thing from the ground up. I think to your point, it's always about the players. It always should be about the players. We want to make sure that we're providing, the highest quality of care that we can to the guys. And it's an extremely, extremely cliche saying, but I don't hope I don't mess this up, but they don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And so making sure that this room is extremely inviting, extremely welcoming, win, loss, injury, whatever it may be, we want to make sure that these guys know that we always got their back. We're going to make it a fun environment in here. When we work, but we're going to make sure that we have a good time doing it. I don't ever want this place to be where guys walk in and they're afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to tell us
Mhm.
about things. They're afraid to open up about things. I have a open door policy. You guys have lived it. I mean, you guys have seen that every day someone's in here sitting in my office and Katie's office having lunch or Jamie's office. And, we really, really want to foster that environment of this room is a resource to you guys. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that, we provide the highest quality level of care that we can.
It's phenomenal. Let's sit there for a second. When I came in January 2017 at the University of Minnesota as a redshirt freshman, believe it or not, I still had hair, just a little bit. Um, there was an old saying that my dad had told me a lot of, "Hey, son, you can't make the club in the tub," right? And I think that's an old school way of viewing the training room. When you walk in to the athletic building where you guys are at, it's all glass, and many training rooms are that way. How have you guys changed the stigma of that, of don't approach the training room because you don't want to be hurt or look like you have an injury going on, to, hey, not only do we say that we want you in here, like, you need to be in here taking care of your body, recovering, and this is actually helping you become a better player. And when I think of right now, it's March Madness. So take this question wherever you go. I know it's not a very clear question, and I apologize for that. March Madness. How many times do you guys have the games on? You have guys working, but there's people in there like, hey, what was the score of that game? What was the score of that game? And just kind of an overall, it's like a living room effect where you have people that are wanting to come in. Hey, I want to use that. Hey, Joe, can you get me with this so I can be ready to go for practice later? How have you guys intentionally built that? Because the club in the can't make the club in the tub thing, I don't see that when I'm around the building. When I was there, and even now when I come in as a fan and alumni, I don't see that effect at all. I see guys flocking and trying to get as much time as they can in the training room. How has that happened, and how have you guys been intentional of that?
No doubt. And it's all about, it starts with relationship building. We want guys to trust us and make sure that, they know that we have their best interests and this is where we want them to be. Your point, it's a big glass room. We joke sometimes that we're kind of in this fishbowl, but you can't really walk into the locker room without walking past us first. So just making sure that our presence is always felt. We're always around. There's almost always someone here before the first guy walks in and make sure someone's here until the last guy walks out. Just making ourselves available as much as we can. We'll put on some music. It's always random. I'm usually the one controlling it, so you don't know what you're going to get. I tell people just because you don't like it, somebody's not going to like it. We might have 80s
Yeah.
playing. We might have new age rap playing. But we put all the games on the TV. We put football on the TV. There's nothing better than Victory Sunday in the training room. We have every NFL game on. Everybody's fighting over what game we watch, who we want to watch. I'm usually trying to put some of our old guys up there, former
Yeah.
players up there. We can watch them, but just making it as welcoming of an environment as we possibly can. I mean, that's the biggest thing, and that starts with the relationship that you build with the guys.
Yeah, I love it. It's
No doubt.
amazing.
Talk about how Coach Nickel and Coach Fleck, your relationship with both of them, because that's kind of the trifecta of the building is coaches, strength staff, AT staff. Those are the three people you're interacting with on a daily basis. So how do you three put your heads together, and how have those two helped you guys, encourage getting guys in the tubs or working with you if something's bothering them?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's anyone out there who preaches recovery more than, Coach Fleck and Coach Nickel. I mean, It's
Yeah,
critical to the extremely important to them. They want everybody to get, something done, some sort of recovery treatment each day when they walk in and before they leave the building. It's a collaborative effort. We talk about our H&P unit, our health and performance unit, from strength, nutrition, sports psych, and athletic training, and everybody's got to be aligned in the goal of every individual athlete. It's all individualized. You got to make sure not everybody's going to be the same. This guy may need kind of this guidance. This guy may need this guidance. This guy may not know how to approach it nutritionally. This guy may not know how to approach the weight room or the training room. And so, we meet regularly. I meet with the strength staff every day, give them any updates that we may have, and make sure that everybody's aligned in that.
that's great. That's so awesome to
Yeah.
hear because I know, at some places that head coaches or strength coaches aren't as encouraging. Luckily at both spots I was at, it was encouraged. So there was no change there. But um, talk a little bit about your commitment to the University of Minnesota. You've been there for 9 years now, going on your 10th season. Um, and in this industry, in this world, it's hard to hold down a spot or to stay at a spot for that long. So talk about your commitment to the Gophers and this team and the guys in the building and the coaches there too.
Yeah, and there's so many reasons why I don't want to. I've stayed, but myself and Sip, and there's a lot of continuity within that H&P unit.
Sure.
You know, First, the number one reason that I stay is the relationships that I've built in the building, amongst the players, amongst former players. There's nothing better than when the alumni come back, when you guys are in the building, when our pros come back in the off season, seeing them have their relationship with them, chop it up, talk about the old days when they were here, what they're doing now. Um, it's that's probably the most rewarding thing, is when guys want to come back and feel comfortable coming back. And then it goes on to kind of what we built in the city. We've built a ton of connections here, between every kind of specialist or phone call. Generally, if a guy asks or needs something, we can find it. It's not, it's the perk of living in a metropolis, is that we have
Mhm.
everything we need, within a few miles. So building those relationships, starting over is hard. When we got here in 2017, it was a lot of, how do we do this, or where do we get this at? By now, I think we've got it pretty well figured out. And then, you know, talking about Coach Fleck, um, he's one of the most involved coaches I've ever been around. I've worked for a number of coaches, and it's really comforting knowing that he always knows everything that's going on in the building at all times. He takes a lot of pride in learning, you know, your name, your wife's name. He knows all the kids' names, and he really takes a lot of pride in that. And that's extremely welcoming environment to be in. He'll ask about how my wife's doing. We'll chop it up in here in the training room. He'll go down to the weight room, come up to the training room, go up and pop in all the offices upstairs, and then same with the assistant coaches. It's just a family environment here that everybody knows everyone. Everyone talks about all their families, their vacations, their weekends, everything. And that's tough to walk away from. I mean, it takes a long time to build those relationships. And so leaving, I wouldn't say I'm afraid to start all that over, but it's a
Mhm.
reason that you continue to stay.
Yeah, for
Cultural
sure.
sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what coaches talked about. Even an advantage that that say we the Gophers have, right? I have zero doubt that cultural sustainability continues to grow. I say we, I laugh because I have nothing to do for games to go win, but I still see myself, right. I'm a Gopher through and through, man. I believe maroon and gold. Um, Joe, I want you to talk a little bit about your time in the past 10 years. I'm being cringy right now, but man, I love Minnesota football. I mean, can you blame me, Quinn? Jeez. Like, all right,
No, I
man.
can't.
Sorry. All right.
I just think it's
Sorry.
funny.
RTB
It
Scott, you
fires me
might
up,
go
dude.
Gophers.
I'm fired up.
I want you to talk a little bit about when you look at your relationship with Coach Fleck and the things that you've learned from a leadership perspective, because you're a leader in the building, you're a leader in life as a husband. What's the one thing that you've taken away that has been the most applicable to you in your life, whether it's in football or outside of football?
Ooh, good question.
It's an elite question.
Let's think here. This is a great question. You know, we do have a saying around here that, never let circumstance dictate your behavior. Um, I I don't know if that's always 100% possible, but I think that it's a way to look at things from a much positive perspective. Is that it's anything can happen at any time. Guys get hurt all the time. Things happen in your life personally. It's but not letting that change what you're doing or how you approach things or how you do things. Um, it doesn't matter if it's a minor injury or the worst injury you've ever seen. I'm going to approach it the exact same way, and I think that I've learned that here. Um, I know that that's one of our big culture terms, but I truly believe that. That's one of my favorites, and I use that quite a bit.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I've been there for a handful of those injuries that you've seen, and some really bad, some are very minor. Like you were treating my hangnail for about 6 weeks there, and that was just a brutal recovery for me. But no, Joe, Tanner and I know this. All the former players that are watching know this, that you are probably the most approachable guy in the building. Like you said, people are always chilling in your office. I would go in there even if I didn't have anything to treat and just chop it up with you. So talk about those relationships with the players and how much that means to you. And, while they're there and even afterwards, building those friendships and those relationships in the building.
Yeah, no, it's by far my favorite part of the job, and it's the most rewarding. Getting to come and work with 18 to 22, 23-year olds every day keeps me young, keeps me up to date. I think I score a lot of cool points with my nephew, and I keep up with the lingo, music, and everything. Um, but it's the probably the number one reason I do this job is just the relationship building and the relationship side of things from coaches and players. And, I make it a point to make sure I know the equipment managers, students' names, and the Necton tank upstairs and all the volunteers. And everybody's got a different story. I mean, everyone's got a different path. Everyone wants to get somewhere. And it's a lot of fun. Like it is extremely, extremely rewarding to get to meet all these people from all different walks of life. And yeah, that's why I continue to do it, and I'll continue to do it.
And you probably have a very unique point of view on this question, but what was your favorite memory as a Gopher so far? I'm sure you could say the Penn State game or the USC games, whatever, game where they storm the field, but you have a unique perspective because you're seeing these guys develop, whether that's in the weight room, on the field, or even with you coming back from an injury and then coming having a great comeback game. So what was your favorite memory as a Gopher so far?
I think there's going to be a number of guys that ask why I didn't pick them in this for this question, but the one that really stands out that you saw it on our sidelines, it was awesome, was the Preston Jellin touchdown.
Yeah,
Preston,
man. Come on.
Preston didn't get a ton of carries. Preston got in, scored, and the whole sideline erupted. I mean, everybody mobbed him. I don't even think that I got to tell him great job till after the game. That's probably one of my favorite memories from guys dealing with stuff coming back. It was an unbelievable moment. Mo's year after his injury coming back, I think he had 100+ yards in every game up until the Wisconsin game. It's these levels of like, I'm so proud of the guys at how hard they work in here, and to see it translate onto the field. It's moving, man. Like you feel it when it happens. You see these guys, Chris Ottman-Bell, when he came back, he caught a touchdown against Purdue. You see it on the guys, like all the weight just lifts off their shoulders because, in a way, like they feel like I'm back. That's when they see success on the field. That's how they know, like I've made it. I'm back to my normal self. So seeing these things from my perspective, to your point, it's unreal. It's an unreal moment. It's an unreal feeling. It's hard to put into words.
It brings up a
That's
great
so
point
cool.
because when you have these guys who are dealing with these major injuries, like all the guys you just list, Achilles, ACL plus, whatever it could have been. Not only physically are you in a low point, but mentally and emotionally, your identity's kind of wrecked a little bit. And I think it's a superpower that you have. Sip definitely has it too, of meeting people where they're at in the moment and showing them that there is a path to the future of getting you back to where you're at. The hard part is the consistency of guys continuing to show up and work the process, knowing that, hey, in 8 months, 7 months, 8 months, well, everybody else is in spring ball, but I'm not. That can be defeating. And I know, we, like you talked about, don't let the circumstance dictate your behavior, but how do you not only believe that for yourself, but with the athletes you're working for? How do you continue to show them that there is a future? Like, you are going to be playing football again. This isn't over, and you just listed all those guys that had it. But what does that look like on a day to day practically, where you're instilling really faith into these guys and hope for a better tomorrow?
Yeah. Um, you know, rehabs are hard. Coming back from rehabs are even harder. There's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows. As people see a lot of gains early on, and then it plateaus out, and then they see a lot of gains, and it plateaus out. And it's just you see athletes go through these wave of emotions where they get hurt, and it's like everything's over, and then they start to come back, and they're like, I'm crushing this, and then you start to see them get into these lows of like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And, just being there for them, showing them constant progress is huge, making sure that they see, something that shows that they're better than what they were yesterday or a week ago or a month ago. We look at three big part of rehabs. We look at it from a subjective component, an objective component, and a psychological component. Subjectively, how are you feeling? Objectively, number of different tests that we use, number of different, data pools we pull from, and technology. And then the psychological component, are you ready to go back out there? And that's usually kind of the hardest one to get over is I just don't feel like myself. I don't know if I'm ready, and just encouraging them and feeding them little successes will help with that.
That's great.
It's great.
And your relationship with them, I'm sure, helps you with the psychological component, because you're not just telling them what to do. They're not just walking in, grabbing a card and going and doing their calf raises or whatever they need to do, right? Like, your relationship with them and, kind of pumping their tires if they need to, or humbling them if they need to, is probably crucial to that process. Talk about one thing that some of our fans probably recognize, the Cup of Joe segment on the Gopher Football Instagram page.
Come on, man.
I think it's 2 or 3 years running with fall camp.
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
We need
Just
more
one?
episodes. I need more content.
Shoot.
I'm desiring more
I thought
content.
it was a couple. Yeah.
I got
But yeah, talk about that and just like your relationships with the guys during that.
Oh, I had a lot of fun doing it during that morning coffee. You guys have done that coffee a number of times. It's just our time to I don't want to say not think about football, but it's our time to like wake up.
Yeah.
How's it going? Small talk. Everybody's chatting. It's one of my favorite things that we do during fall camp is kind of that morning coffee. And, it's always fun at the end when you guys always think you're slick and sneaky and everybody's hiding, water bottles full of muscle milk and dump it all over everyone. And, being asked to do the Cup of Joe, it was hilarious. I got a lot of flack for it. I was a little shaky doing it. I'd never held a microphone before or just shot from the hip with questions, but I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, it was funny.
You were a natural.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Natural.
We
might
got to
be
have more content from the Cup of Joe segment. I think the people need it. I mean, we see it. The creator content, people want to see like the reality of what's going on. I think you have a skill set. So I'm pleading to the University of Minnesota, to the people in charge of making Cup of Joe go. I want to see an episode every day next training camp. I want to see 29 episodes, however many practices it may be.
need you
Let's
to
highlight our players through the ATs.
feed me some questions, and I'll think about doing it every day. It was tough.
Nah, man, just be yourself and do it. One of the things about you that you're really good at as the director of rehab is you've been on the forefront of making sure that the recovery room and really the new recovery science. And when we say recovery, I mean how much data is behind it, right? Well, we don't really know, as you have told me multiple times, but you're constantly looking for, what's the next improvement that we can give to our athletes. So red light saunas, the sleep pods, making sleep a huge priority, float tanks, all the there's and I'm missing a ton of things. What's something that recently you're looking into from a recovery standpoint on if it's something that you guys might invest in or something you already have invested in for the student athletes at Minnesota?
Yeah. So we built that recovery suite 2020. Um, and we made it so that, things can move around, things can be removed, things can be put in and out of it. It's very moldable in there. We floated some ideas about, do we need to put a bigger sauna in there for the guys? The guys love that thing. I mean, that thing, you guys have probably been down there
It's
and
great.
there's been a line out the door waiting to use it. So do we need to get something bigger in there? We're looking at some different kind of sleep pods, sleep beds, meditation beds. We're always looking to expand that area of recovery. And it's never going to be a one size fits all. The question that I get the most, especially from newcomers, is like, what do you recommend for recovery? And I can give you some general guidelines, but I always encourage everybody, try everything, work with every machine that we have. We have unlimited resources. So you plug into what works for you and then create a routine with that. Maybe it is the red light bed. Maybe it's the float tank. Maybe it's just the Normatex and the hot and cold tub, but whatever works for you and whatever makes you feel your best when you go out onto the field, do that, stick with it, get in a routine. And if you need to adjust. Recovery is on the forefront. Again, it's not a one size fits all. Everybody has different needs. Everybody has different routines and things that they can make themselves feel better. And we encourage all of it.
Well, speak to the non-elite
That's great.
athlete when you're talking about recovery, because we like the whoops are a big thing now. Another, I want to highlight Ben Schumacher. I had a whoop on in 2018 before they were a big deal, just prototyping it, and I hated it. But it turns out now whoops are everywhere, right? So, uh, when I still wear one,
Yep.
but recovery is becoming more and more into
Yep.
the non-athletics, world of competitive athletics to people that want to take care of our bodies. When we're done playing football, we're done playing ball, whatever it may be, but just people who want to perform at their best. Well, maybe I don't have access to a float tank every day. What's some of the most simple, feedback you would give us on like how should we recover? Obviously, we need to be going and working out, and we can stay away from that. But what does recovery look like, and how do I do it? Or is it just this big word that there's all these different things, and I can search it, and does it mean I need to buy $1,000 cold tub for my house? Like, what does that actually practically look like? How can I recover as a non-elite athlete? And maybe they are elite athletes listening to the podcast.
Yeah. No, and this is going to be, this is not rocket science. And so I'm sorry to disappoint with my answer, but the number one thing that you can do for recovery is focus on sleep and sleep hygiene. And, look at your nap times, make sure your nap times aren't interfering with your sleep at night, looking at, am I going to bed at the same time every night? Am I getting up at the same time every morning? Am I maximizing the amount of sleep that I get? Am I getting a full 9 hours? I think that especially in college students, is something that can be neglected pretty easy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on campus. There's a ton of students, but making sure that that is your number one priority is huge. You look at nutrition and sleep are as the two kind of pillars of recovery. So if there's anybody out there listening, sleep, sleep, sleep. Get good sleep at night. Again, the guys give me a lot of crap about. They say I'm anti-nap. I'm not anti-nap. I just don't think that you should take a 4-hour nap midday so that you can stay up till 2 a.m. at night playing the video games when you have to get up in the morning.
Amen. What about caffeine? What's the real stat on caffeine? When do you cup of Joe, right? You're a coffee guy. When do you have to cut off the caffeine?
That's a good question. I drink. I would be the wrong person to ask. I have a majority of the day, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass that question to someone else. I probably
Well, glad to see the authenticity of the segment is really there of the show. Cup of Joe is really drinking a cup of Joe.
yeah, my caffeine intake is probably higher than most people would recommend.
At least Joe's coffee tastes good. It's not like Dan
Yeah.
Nichols coffee where you're chewing it. That line
That's
was coined
disgusting.
by Tanner Morgan, by the way. We were talking
Disgusting.
about that a couple months ago. He's like, "Yeah, coffee's
That's
so thick
because
you can chew it."
he told me that to my face. I like my coffee, Morgan, when I can drink it and chew it, brother. Let's go have an elite day. Oh
That's
man.
incredible. Joe, tell us about your favorite time of the year. Is it the off season when NFL guys are coming back? Is it spring ball when you get to see how guys have developed over winter workouts? Summer, fall camp, cup of Joe, bull prep. What are you most looking forward to this year?
Yeah. I think that my favorite time of year is probably the start of the Big Ten season.
Mhm.
That's really when you see how talented you are versus some of the best in the country. It's I'm extremely thankful for what I get to do every day. I have the best seats in the house to Big Ten football. Seeing some of these other teams, seeing some of their guys, seeing our guys compete against each other. It's incredible. It's awesome. I love spring ball. I am a big proponent of spring ball. I like seeing guys put the pads on and play football. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I played football until I was in 8th grade, and they started hitting, and I decided that it wasn't for me. So I like watching guys do it. I would not sign up to do it, and I appreciate everybody that does it.
Well, you're a big football guy in general. You're a big basketball guy also. Are the Cyclones, did they make the cut? Did they make the bracket this year?
Yeah, they made the 2 seed.
There you go. You got money on them under the table?
No
No.
on them, but I'm going to take them all the way again, Quinn. I do it every year, and this is.
Gophers had
It'll
a
be a
good run
good
this
year.
year, basketball wise. Nico's a ball coach now.
Man,
No doubt about that in my mind.
they fought.
Absolutely.
That was a team that fought this year. They were a lot of fun to watch, and it's exciting what he's doing over there.
Going back to football a little bit, you don't have to mention any names or anything like that, but what are you most looking forward to this season with this 2026 Gopher football team?
Yeah, um, you know, I think everybody's really wants to see how Drake does and how Drake progresses. Drake's an incredible person. He's an awesome human being. Can't wait to watch him this fall. I know that you guys have talked about him in length on other episodes, and he deserves every ounce of praise that he gets.
Mhm.
It'd be a lot of fun to watch the running back room to come together. The O-line room is a lot of fun to watch right now. We got some young O-linemen that are huge. They're fun to watch. They're big kids walking in. Seeing them in spring ball will be a lot of fun. Seeing the defense this year, I'm really excited to watch Maverick, another kid who's for every single thing that he's got. It's going to be a fun season. It's a really fun team to be around. It's really fun coming into the office every day. And they've been working. Everyone asked me how it goes. You guys have asked me how it's going, and these guys are working hard. It's been a lot of fun.
That's great.
I can't wait. Can't wait, man.
Well, Tanner, what do you think?
getting-
Should we get into the honor roll? Or you got more question? You got another question?
Yeah,
for
I've
me?
got one question. I got one question, and then I want to get into the honor roll because I think we might take a little bit longer on the honor roll, and we get to talk about some of our former teammates, guys you've been around. But the last question I want to ask you is, hey, there's a kid who's 18, 19, 20 years old, and he's thinking about, like, man, what does it look like? How do I become an athletic trainer? What do I do? What would you tell that person, maybe a young Joe at Iowa State, on what they should do and what they're getting into?
Yeah. No, great question. Strongly recommend them getting involved in some way. Not every college has a athletic training program. We don't have one here in Minnesota. We have a number of students who are, kind of athletic medicine helpers. We do everything we can to teach them, mentor them. Earlier in this show, I mentioned a ton of names that mentored me and helped me get to where I'm at. And, we as a staff want to provide that exact same, opportunity to some of the young students here. So them being in here, them volunteering, them seeing how we do things on a day-to-day basis is going to be a ton of help for them. So, whether you have a program at your school or you don't, get involved around sports, even if it's not in the athletic training room. We've had equipment students that have seen what we've done and they've popped over. Just any way that you can get involved around the sport. And, it'd be naive of me to just talk about football. It really goes for any sport. If you have a passion in basketball or gymnastics or volleyball or anything like that, reach out, email the athletic trainer there, see if you can come observe, just get some hours. And then, you know, it's a process to take prereqs to apply to grad programs. Our degree is a grad degree now, as opposed to when I went through it, it was a undergrad degree. But you can get a ton of volunteer hours, a ton of observation hours. And, we can always use the hands. We'll put you to work. We'll do things that will allow you to do things that we're allowed to let you do. And you can kind of follow us around and see how we go about day to day, and then make an informed decision on this is what you want to get into.
I have
You just
one more
can't let them
question.
tape the vets, though.
That's what I was gonna go. I was gonna go to ankle taping. It's very controversial in the locker room. People have their guy that they have to get their ankles taped in. You
Yeah.
often have a very long line of people waiting for you to tape their ankles.
Yeah.
Who has been the most difficult person that has to have their ankles taped a very specific way? Who has been the most difficult guy that you have to tape their ankles? That will listen to this and say, yeah, Joe's right. That was probably very difficult with my ankles. Maybe it's a current guy or a former guy.
Yeah, man.
Don't say me.
No, you were really peculiar about how you needed your ankle tape. I think probably, and I don't know if he listens to this show. I hope he does, but Chuck Filiago was very picky about how he got. He was a straight to the skin guy. He didn't want any pre-rep, anything underneath, and
Psychotic.
he would wait forever, and we'd be pushing up to. I will say most of the time he was early. So Chuck, if you do listen, I'm not bashing you, but if he came in a little late, the line would be big. We'd be bumping right up to team meeting, and Chuck's still waiting. He won't go to anyone else, and I'm like, "You're gonna run out of time." He's like, "I'll just grab you after." So, Chucky.
I got a good story about
That's
Joe.
hilarious.
I got a good story about Joe and ankle tape. I don't know how peculiar I was with how you did it, but I was very partial to you taping my ankles. And I don't know, that's just how I rolled. If I found something I liked, I stuck with it. So I believe it was
Superstitions.
2020. Yeah, you could call it that. I believe it was 2023 or 2024. We're in the middle of spring ball, or maybe towards the end of spring ball, and Joe decides that he's going to go to the Masters on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so we got practice on Saturday, and I don't have Joe to tape my ankles. So I think I had Sip tape my ankles or something. I walked out with 2 ankle sprains. It was great. I appreciated Joe. I texted him after. I said, never again. I will never have my ankles taped by anyone else ever again. So you better be around.
I didn't get the text because you can't have your phone in Augusta, so I'd say I feel bad, but I really don't.
Yeah. Do they really pipe in the bird noise? Is that true, or is that fake news?
I didn't hear any bird noises, but I did eat a ton of the cheap food. So
Oh
There you go.
bucket list. That's a bucket list. Anytime, I do not blame you at all. Anytime you get a chance, I've never been, obviously, but if I ever get a chance to go to the Masters and I have something going on, I'm going to Augusta. And I've made that
Yeah.
pre-decision in my mind, just
Oh.
like I think every other man,
yeah,
most men in the world have.
Sip and I had
Absolutely.
we had a handshake agreement for 8 years or 7 years. Like, if anyone gets tickets to Augusta, you have to go. I mean, you got to go.
Right. I think I was
No-brainer.
more just salty that I wasn't there and I was practicing. It wasn't so much
mad.
the tape.
Yeah.
It was only
Joe,
75 or 80 degrees. No, not a cloud in the sky. So
oh,
Oh, my
yeah,
goodness.
definitely. Good for you. Joe, we're going to lead into our honor roll segment, which you can choose an honor roll or a dishonor roll, something that you just generally you're like, man, this isn't the worst thing in the world, but I really don't like it when this happens. Now, here's how this goes. Usually we do one. I'm liable to throw out 2, call it indecisive, whatever you want to call it. I just have too many good things to spew out to the world that people probably don't want to listen to. John Michael Schmitz took it a step further. He did 3. So
Oh,
we've had guests do 2 or 3. John took his time getting to the 3. He wanted to make sure he got three things in there. I love John. They were great. They were hilarious. John was spot on with all of them. And his last one was probably his best one. So we'll start with Quinn. We'll go with me. We'll close with you, and feel free to we can have dialogue around it. But Quinn, your honor roll for this week, what is it?
yeah, I'm going on theme here because we just got 48,000 feet of snow in Minnesota. I'm going with shoveling snow. I know it's a hot take, but I actually really enjoy it. You get a good sweat going, or at least I do. When I'm all bundled up, I'm sweating my ass off shoveling snow. But the snow we got was very puffy, powdery, like snowboard snow, so it wasn't all that bad. But looking at the driveway, looking at the sidewalk afterward, seeing that it's all clean and you accomplished that, it feels good. So that's my honor roll this week.
It's a pretty elite honor roll. My honor roll is going to be missing a Midwest spring snowstorm because I've been stranded in Virginia, in a good stranded to get to spend time with my family, but stranded away from the snowstorm. So not having to live through the 14 or 15, 16 inches. I am not excited to get home tomorrow and shovel my driveway though. I think that's going to be a pain. Maybe
Give me
my
a
neighbors
call.
have been really nice to me. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I have to get my car. My car even started too. My second honor roll is going to be this. We're in one of my favorite seasons of the year when MLB baseball is starting to pick up. And I don't even love baseball. It's just MLB baseball is on TV. It's something to do.
Hmm.
Golf is in full swing. We just had the Players last weekend. Spring ball's right around the corner. You can smell football season. It is just, you have summer coming on, even though it's March right now. You just talked about the snow, but just the season that we're in right now, you're anticipating all these great things that are to come. March Madness is, I mean, days away. I mean, one of the best times of the year, St. Patrick's Day. It's just, there's a lot of exciting things going on. And I don't want to even pick just one. So my honor roll is the season of anticipation we're in, spring ball, March Madness, the Masters, MLB. If you're a sports guy, this is a great time, right? It's not like post Super Bowl and you don't have football for so long. If you don't like the NBA or basketball, you're just kind of stuck. You're waiting for the UFL to kick off. So my honor roll, my second, is going to be the anticipating sports season that we're in right now, and I can't wait for all the things that are to come, especially March Madness here coming right around the corner. Joe, what do you got
Yeah,
for us?
yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna throw out for my honor roll. I'm gonna say that you guys understand now, and eventually everyone in this building will understand. Post college, getting back with the college bros, getting back with the college boys, weekend trip, vacation trip. Spending quality time with guys that you may only connect with in a group text or an Instagram thread or something like that. Definitely one of my favorite things is getting together, gals, getting with college gals, whatever it may be. Definitely my favorite thing. That is 100% my honor roll.
Gosh,
That's a
that's
great
so
honor
good. Do you
roll.
have a specific? Do you have what was your last like get together with the fellas that you guys had?
Yeah. So the big one 2 years ago, we all went to the Dominican Republic. It
Oh,
was
nice. The DR. Okay.
awesome. Last year did a golf weekend here in the city, went down to Iowa and did a golf weekend down there. You know, I got tons of buddies stay super close with, and it's always great getting with them, and you never miss a beat. It doesn't matter how long away we are from each other, how much time we haven't spent with each other recently. The minute we're all in the same place, it's like we never left Ames, Iowa.
Oh, dude, I can put
Chills.
all my chips on that honor roll right there. That is like
Yeah.
one of the best moments when you get the boys together for a golf trip and you're like, I'm playing like garbage, but this is still the best time because I'm with the fellas. Right.
Yep.
Even
Yeah.
better, you pair it around a major sporting event or something. Just anytime you get together with, and as you get older in life, right? And I'm 26, but I've got 2 kids and all the jazz. The opportunities to do that when you have things going on in a career, they're few and far between. And when you get everybody together, I mean, one of my best friends was, yeah, they eloped last year, and he's like, "Hey, we want to do a late bachelor party," and the thread was, "Oh, I can't that weekend. I can't that. What about this weekend? What about that weekend?" And finally, after 7, 8, 9, 10 texts, you landed on one that was like 4 months away from the one you anticipated. And it's like, oh my gosh, how hard is it to get that many people together for freaking 3 days?
Yeah.
Like, what has happened in life? But the ability to do it, top notch. Joe, we want to thank you. From the honor roll, from the Honorable Mission podcast. Your honor roll was fantastic, but thank you for what you're doing at the University of Minnesota. Thank you for what you've meant in our lives, what you continue to do for us as alumni and just friends. You've played a pivotal role in Quinn and I's life. So seriously, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I remember when I got concussed and thought I would never play football again, the conversations we had that led to me having faith that one day I would be able to play again. And you know the story. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you've done in our lives. And we are very glad that you came on the Honorable Mentions podcast. Maybe the best guest so far. Who knows?
That was a big
We'll
shoot.
see.
People are saying.
We'll see how the viewers like it, but I think so.
Well,
people are saying. I don't know.
Man, I really appreciate you two and the work that you guys did in here. And seeing your guys' career was awesome. To all the former players that listen to this, thank you for allowing me to be a very, very small part of your success story. I love every one of you guys like you guys are brothers of mine. So thanks for your time, guys. Really appreciate it.
Love you, Joe. Thanks for coming on, brother.
All right, guys. Yeah.